I don't know if disc golf's okay with never getting better or what, but I'm tired of seeing the same problems everywhere we go. What's up, guys? It's the disc golf world. I'm Jefferson, and alongside me, as always, the one with all the holes in his game, Swiss Cheese. For those that only pay attention to what the dgpt spoon feeds you like that's the only professional disc golf going on, you may have missed the coverage over at GK Pro, putting out same-day post-produce like the beasts they are. Also, big shout out to them for letting me crash the Airbnb for the week. Feels a lot safer than the Cracker Barrel parking lot and filled with way more Matty O stories, but those will be for another day. Definitely go check out the full coverage on their channel because this is one of the oldest and most prestigious events in disc golf. I don't care if it doesn't have Elite Series next to it anymore. However, it seems like you can't find anything about the history of the event. I tried researching to set the stage of the historical significance, but literally there's no information. But when you ask players, they immediately start talking about how important putting their name on the list of champions is. Don't believe me? Go check out the full press conference we ran before the tournament. Also, it's crazy to me after over 40 years of this event being run, this is the first year there was any extra media coverage behind the typical post-produced. Not sure why we're settled after just that. Again, why would anyone care about an event that isn't on tour if you aren't going to give them a reason? How about we blow up the fact that round 1 was 27 holes, or the trophy is a custom hockey jersey, or this is the first time the Hollows will be played since the course was called Vision Quest in 2015, the last time this event was played on tour. And those are just a few things I came up with at 7 in the morning without even thinking too hard. Imagine how much bigger this event could be, and I know a couple of guys that would love to make videos about this exact type of thing. If only there was a channel run by two dudes that love sharing the untold disc golf stories. Man, I wish there was something like that. Maybe then, with more focused media attention, the tournament would be able to pay the winner more than they did in 2006. How is that not a major issue with, again, one of the oldest, biggest, most prestigious event not on the Pro Tour? I understand the appeal of the untouched disc golf culture not being ruined by capitalist greed, and 18-year-old Jefferson would hold up the Communist Manifesto with you. But I've done a little growing up since then, and the first thing I realized was, holy shit, we have no money in disc golf. You might be asking where, which would prompt me to respond, everywhere. The Majestic is one of the longest running A-tiers in the United States and still holds the same high praise throughout the sport. There's a reason this year had the most amount of 1,000 rated players in the field, plus all of the touring pros. I mean, they do have the coolest trophy in disc golf. Come on, that green hockey jersey is drippy as hell. I don't care what Brody Smith will tell you. Almost makes up for the fact that the winner only gets $2,200. How can this tournament be running for this long, yet that's all they reward? Especially when in 2006, the winner got $2,500. Not sure how we've gone backwards, but here we are. There's plenty of ways to raise funds for the payout instead of compromising morals of the tournament, although I don't think adding a sponsor name would be all that bad. It's not like anyone's calling it the Preserve Championship connected by Microsoft Teams. Yeah, that shit sounds dumb as hell, and we'll just refer to it as the Preserve. But if that's what it takes to get our players an adequate payout for a weekend's worth of work, f*** it. Sure, you might say they're only giving 12 hours of work, but most of these guys travel across the country to provide entertainment to hundreds of people watching for free online and in person. Again, I love the fact you can get so much value from A-tiers, but it's only a matter of time of no growth and being okay with complacency that the culture will wash away. Want to know how? As soon as someone pays GK more money to film another tournament the same weekend, they're gone. And the only reason we're covering it at the Disc Golf World besides it being so close to the Preserve was because hopefully we can report on more A-tiers in the future. But you best be betting that's how we plan on making money to fund this thing we got going on. The Disc Golf World is entirely run by your support from watching, and those who go above and beyond on the Patreon. Can't thank you guys enough. We've received little from outside companies, although we'll get back to some of you guys soon when we have a better payment structure because we want to make sure your money will actually be receiving value from us. A 15-second ad isn't getting anyone true value, and I would hate to take people's money for that. Which reminds me, no Swedish Open clips for Swiss. I don't want you guys to have to watch an ad for a quicker recap than a session of some left-hand shame. But it makes me a little upset that we've received more support from non-disc golf businesses than people from our sport. In my eyes, it seems pretty simple. If there's no coverage of the Majestic or insert high-level A-tier, it'll disappear. Sure, there still might be a tournament, but it'll be as relevant as Vibram discs. When no one besides locals give a shit, who cares? And it'll only be a matter of time before it turns into just another forgotten weekend. It doesn't need to be that way. With the help of media broadcasting showing why people need to go to the event, or if they can't, just watch it, then there's so much more value being brought not only to the event, but the disc golf culture. Look at the views of this event compared to a dgpt. Nearly the same as we get. So next time you're thinking of getting media coverage, think of your boys. Not to say we want to be the only ones covering it, but there's way more to disc golf tournaments than just actual play. Don't believe me? Here you go then. The Majestic isn't like most tournaments. Round 1 starts off with 27 holes over at the historic Blue Ribbon Pines. Although the holes might be shorter, they still present trouble. Two-stroke swings are common from tree kicks, OB, you name it. If you're not familiar with BRP, there's lots of different variations and even some T-pad switching. And even though this isn't a dgpt event, there was still some trouble. As the round concluded, it turned out some cards played the long pad for hole 24 and some did not. This caused some problems, and ultimately the decision was made to take out the hole entirely from the scores. That took Adam Hammes from a hot 19 under to 18. Still had a 5-stroke lead over the field as he only found trouble on hole 6. For this year's Majestic, the addition of the hollows was introduced. If you're unfamiliar with the old Vision Quest course, I had the opportunity to ask Kale about the redesign.
The story actually goes way back. It was 2013. The guy who lived here and owned this property named Mike Rivard contacted me about helping him design this new course that he wanted to build. So I was actually one of the original designers of this property way back then. The place goes so far back. If you see these ponds behind us, none of these were even here. He dug all this out. It was a complete dream of a design and project to work on. So it was laying dormant here, and another man bought it and contacted me about if I wanted to take this over. The opportunity was too good to pass up. We just love this place. We love having our own property out here. Now we're about 7 months in and it's going great. If you can see the tall grass behind me, that's pretty much how everything looked. But the bones of this property were still here, we did get all new baskets and a lot of new tee pads, but every hole already had a bench. There's waste baskets. There's such a good infrastructure here. So we were like, we could probably get this place revived without spending too much money. Pulled it off in a few weeks. The first step was me cutting down a couple of the trees that I've wanted to cut down for about 11 years. When you get back in the woods, some of the lines, there's some fun holes back there, but some of the lines weren't super fair. Moved tee pads where I wanted, baskets where I wanted, and kind of make everything as fair as I believe a course should be. We changed 9 of the 18 holes, but people that played the old Vision Quest property still got the exact same feel. If you knew the old property, you still have the same flavor here. Wanted to honor a lot of the old special holes and stuff like that, but while changing about half of it. Some of the shots were so fun, but there's some gnarly old stumps in the way and stuff, and that's the first thing we did is I had Grizz come out here and lop them.
Swiss Cheese and I actually played this course back in 2020. There's still a sense of this forgotten course, but without a doubt, huge improvements for the community. Keeping the concepts of iconic holes while making the points that lacked excitement fun. There's water obstacles, peninsulas, baskets on hills, open shots, woods, and the 18th basket's in a gazebo. Before you get pissed off about that for no reason, listen to what some of the pros playing had to say.
Oh, I love that stuff.
Holy team right behind me there going into the gazebo. That's a neat way to finish a round on a big 450-foot shot, it feels like.
I think it's a vibe.
It's a good touch at this course, especially.
I don't think it's too much, the posts won't be too much in the way. You should always have a putt if you're close.
Awesome.
Hammes held on to that lead after a 10 under on the windy day. Unfortunately, his lead would dwindle to just 1 stroke over Matty O, who put together a hot 14 under. Andrew Marweed not too far off either, just 2 back with 21 holes to play. After the cut before round 3, the course would be shortened, which I liked. Took out some of those filler holes, setting up for a great championship Sunday. Adam started his round by getting the birdies as they came his way, avoiding trouble and even getting some favorable fortune. Marweed started 5 under through the first 5. I wish I could break down the stats for you, but this is an A tier and we don't got them here. Just another value your boys could bring to add to the story. At least they'd be more accurate than those volunteers asking pros if they're inside or outside the circle. Matty O and Andrew Presnell would also find themselves in the lead card final day, but would vanish like most of Prodigy's players nowadays. Adam would continue to play smart and avoid any problems. That would be up until hole 14 where he missed a crucial putt for birdie that Marweed was able to secure. That would be the first time the entire tournament Hammes would share the lead. For those watching in person, it felt more intense than watching Cupcake trying to putt from 15 feet. They would match each other for par on hole 15. Marweed would now have the box and peer his shot out the tight gap on 16. After seeing that, Adam would be forced to respond, and what looked like it was leaking ended up CTP for a pair of birdies. Again on the next hole, both would crush forehands, putting themselves well within the circle for easy birdies. Which could be said about the next hole as well, but these happen to be backhands instead, matching each other hole for hole as the tournament is coming to its closing holes. It was on hole 19 when Marweed opened the door with a drive that Andrew said he didn't think he could throw that far, and to be fair, he was still within his range. That's what happens when you're the best putter in the game. Needing to respond, Adam pulled it to the right and a bit deep. Basically left with no look for birdie, but that didn't stop him from the full commitment. A missed putt from Marwi would keep them tied heading into hole 20, and Andrew would do one of the worst things possible. Hit the early down tree. Hamas did a better job at putting himself into position, but still not ideal. He had to throw around the corner, which would give him a look at an upshot for bird, which was in a prime spot after Marwi conceded for par at best, which he would nail after his approach put him a bit further back than what I'm sure he was planning. But when you putt like he does, it's like a 20-footer. Adam Pure decided on approach and nailed the putt for birdie and taking back the lead heading into the final hole 21 and 65 on the tournament. The wind was swirling, and on the tee, the trees blocked the feeling, so there's more trust needed on this shot than most. Hamas elected to go overstable driver, and what at first looked like he was taking the win, the skip pushed him straight into the OB ditch, which now left the door wide open for Marweed, who had just lost his stroke on the previous hole. Looking down at a putt for the win, everyone in the crowd knew it was over, as Andrew Marweed would take down the 2024 Minnesota Majestic and now could sport that dope green jersey. Seriously, a top trophy in the sport if you ask me. Go check out the full event over on the GK channel, as they killed it this weekend putting out same-day coverage. Who's crazy enough to do shit like that? And if you want more A-tier collabs with the Disc Golf World and GK, make sure to go tell them. And if you want us to cover your professional event, let us know. Thanks for watching this different type of vid. Our goal of the Disc Golf World is to hopefully be able to cover more of these historic tournaments. There's so much more to disc golf than just frisbees being thrown, and we want to be a part of preserving the culture that put us in the position we're in today. But that can only happen if we start to change and allow more creativity. Not sure why disc golf's so robotic and new ideas seem to be neglected. Don't worry guys, the Disc Golf World is here to shake things up for the better.